more than welcome back to Little Miss Drop Stage. Oh, the weather today. It's 21 degrees Celsius and it is muggy. It's cloudy, 21 degrees Celsius, but somehow I'm not in a cardigan. It's muggy, it's sticky, it's horrible, okay? Lately, I've been showing you how to dye your clothes in a manner of different ways. And I'll link the videos below. We did dyeing clothes by machine, by hand, and also an ombre dip dye effect as well. This that I'm wearing now is also one that I dyed, this beautiful fuchsia. I'm going to talk to you today about the successes and fails I had whilst dyeing my own clothes and share my tips and experiences with you. There is also a blog post on this, which I'll also link below, and that details everything and more that we'll talk about today. Can you believe it that all four of these garments that I'm holding were all done with the same coloured dye? Okay, it was ocean blue by Dylon. Nothing in this video is sponsored, by the way. So let's have a chat about why they've all come out different colours. Some of them I'm not mad at. So the first thing that it did say on the packet, but you never really believe it, do you? So for the hand wash dye, you could dye up to 250 grams of dry fabric, and I think it was similar for the brand Rip Dye as well. I think that's an American brand. And for machine wash, it was slightly more. I think you could dye about 650 grams of fabric. So this one I did hand dye. So if we see, this is the most saturated the colour went. And this I dyed by hand, and you just think, oh, well, it's, you know, what's 250 grams? And it does say like a light t-shirt or a pair of shorts, whatever. But I put a whole dress in thinking that would be about 250 grams. I weighed it after. Turns out it's more, 400. And it came out a lighter colour. So bear that in mind. I really love this, so it was a happy accident. If you want the full saturated colour like it is on the packet, just bear in mind that you'll need to do what they recommend and not your own thing, okay? So, and the fabric would be wet dry as well. I love that. It really inspires me of, you know, like that turgid blue, that North African light blue, which I couldn't find a dye colour for, so not mad at that at all. This came out the darkest in the ocean blue colour, and what I noticed is that linen fabric saturates the best, okay? Here we also have pink, and I put this that I'm wearing and this dress in at the same time. Not sure how well the camera will pick it up, but the linen has saturated a lot more and a lot better. Just to bear that in mind. I feel like we'll be bearing a lot of things in mind today. Okay, this one, okay, so this was cotton. So just to compare, putting them in at the same time, cotton did actually come out a bit lighter. And this sad dress, okay? It might not look terrible from where you were, but oh, it's just, yeah, it's not what I wanted. The next thing to bear in mind is the composition of your fabric. The dyes that I were using were for natural fibres, and by that we mean cotton, linen, you know, viscose, rayon, wool, silk. You can also get dye for synthetic fibres, and by that we mean nylon, polyester. Yeah, they'll be your main ones, to be honest. But what do you do if your garment is a mixture of those? Well, I just trusted the person on Vinted that put cotton, which, you know, my error, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, if you've not been following all these, I bought off Vinted, again, not sponsored, because I want to A, save money, and B, be more sustainable as well and buying second hand. Some of them had the tags in as well, actually. When I looked upon inspection after it had come out the washing machine, this dress is 85% polyester, 15% cotton, and I was using a dye for natural fabric. So to break that down for you, the dye molecules will stick to the natural fibres, so it's not stuck to everything, because 85% of it is actually polyester. That's why it's come out a lot lighter, and it's got these kind of horrible scratchy lines down it and everything. So I'm thinking of just cutting it up at the back and using it as like a painting and decorating dress. So I went on the internet and looked what advice was there, and it said 35% polyester or less, you can use the dye for natural fabrics. If it's more than 35% polyester, you'll need to get a dye that's for synthetic fabrics. I did look at that, and to be honest, it looked a bit of a faff because it wanted heat to do it, and one of those was a method called the stovetop method, and yeah, it was just getting a bit kind of buying pots and pans and expensive and all sorts. And I think there was another method which was washing machine. Oh, Oh no, I can feel a bit of rain in the air. Right, we might have to pause and come back. Yeah, and we have front-loading washing machines in the UK, and some of those methods were for top-load and all sorts. So anyway, that's why I didn't do get a dye for synthetic fabric. However, that was the internet advice. So that prompted me to look at all my clothes I got off Vinted in a bit of a panic, and this was 50% cotton, 50% polyester. But to be honest, I'm pretty chuffed with that. I'm not mad at that at all. Conversely, look, this was the Dylon green, 100% cotton. I don't think it came out that vibrant, or you know, kind of the verdant green that it said it was on the packet. It seems to be that dyeing clothes is part experimentation and look, part what the internet says, and then part just doing your own thing anyway. From that, I think we've all learned, don't dye your absolute favourite thing unless, you know, you're sure of the fabric and composition. For example, if I was dyed something linen, I would trust that all day long. But yeah, something that said cotton, I wouldn't quite trust it came out exactly like the saturated colour on the packet. Looks like it stopped raining, so everything crossed. So far, we've gone over the quantity of fabric, how that affects the colour, the composition of the fabric, and I just want to show you some other things that I learned, flops, successes, all the rest of it. One thing I was pleased at is that I had the noggin to suspect that the thread used when the factory sewed the garment would be polyester, because that's what you get when you're sewing on your machine that people usually use. And then, as we know, the polyester, the dye molecules for natural fabrics do not stick to the polyester molecules. I did a science degree, but never mind. If you can't see, I'll show it up close. So as you can see, the dye has not stuck to the stitching, any buttons or anything like that. Where are we? Wooden buttons it might stick to, but yeah, plastic ones it hasn't. So it actually avoids the stitching, and I think this creates a really cool effect. It's also an effect that you just have to accept as well. So yeah, there's a bit there as well. That's why I didn't pick anything broad anglaise, because I just didn't know if it would have been a cotton or a polyester. I didn't want to look like, you know, a dot to dot. So yeah, it's something to embrace. It won't dye the stitch, and it's very unlikely to. If you're dyeing fabric to make a garment, my advice from there would be to dye the fabric, then make the garment with your matching thread rather than make it and then dye it. Similarly, if you're altering it, I'd dye it and then alter in your chosen coloured thread rather than the other way around, because it might look a bit messy. A couple of other things that happened. These were the shorts that I dyed with the RIT dye, and it was quite expensive. I think that's probably because of import charges. I believe it is a US brand. Sage green, beautiful sage green. They came out this colour. For once I did dye the recommended amount of fabric as well, and it's getting onto forest green. Actually, it's like a eucalyptus green. And again, you can see here quite prominently the stitching that's showing. So yeah, not impressed with that. The label hasn't dyed as well because it's polyester. Yeah, not impressed at all. I'm hoping that it'll just kind of fade over time. So these are also some I bought, but I was a little bit too chunky for. And yeah, I thought it was going to come out more this colour. So yeah, not too impressed with that. I'll still wear them. But yeah, not 100% impressed. What else? This was an interesting one. So I just had visions of me in this, the Dylon tulip red, beautiful tulip red dye in kind of a camisole, close fitting summer dress. So I bought this, beautiful. This was white. I dyed it. I'm really disheartened with this. In fact, I over-dyed it again to try and make it darker, and why it looks so funky, and there's close-up pictures on the blog page for this, it looks to be, I think, like a chambray fabric, which obviously it's not going to say that on the label. It just says 100% cotton. So looking at it, oh my gosh, my eyes. Yeah, there's some of it that's kind of one way, it's the natural fibre, so the red, and I don't, if it says 100% cotton, I don't know what the other fibre is. Let me know if you've more experience or knowledge on chambray than me, because it hasn't dyed, so that's why it looks so white. It's actually really dotty. So yeah, some of the fibres have dyed, some of them haven't. Kind of, there's like a white fill of fabric in between. Oh, I don't know if I'll wear it. It's just, yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll grow on me. Here's another example for you of where, this sounds really morbid, but I thought, oh, this would be a nice funeral dress if I have to go to a funeral and it's like in winter, whatever, and I won't be freezing. And I did know it wouldn't dye that, but I don't think it looks too obtuse. I don't know if I'd look a little bit Victorian spinster, Miss Havisham, but there we go. So I incorporated that into the design. I have done an ombre dip dye dress as well, and there's a video tutorial on that. What did I learn from that? Follow my tutorial. That's what I learned from that. And yeah, finally, I did show you this dress. However, there's some, you probably can't see it, there's a little mark on the back, and that was because I'd spun it off in the washing machine after I'd dyed the ocean blue ones. Or was it the black? It was one of them anyway. And a little bit did come off despite me, you know, rinsing out the machine and things. So that's something to consider. And I tried to dye all these like when my mum was out, but then she still somehow knew that I'd been dyeing clothes and could find it in obscure places. Well, say obscure places like the wall that I didn't even notice. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and feel free to share your experiences as well with dyeing your own clothes. If anyone's dyed any synthetic fibres, I'd be interested to hear that as well. Whether it'll come out before or after, I'm not sure, but I would do another video on just the no-nonsense, what you need to know and have before you start dyeing your own clothes. Please do give us a like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does help us out. And don't forget to have a lovely day and take care.